If you're part of a nonprofit, you know that managing your donors is absolutely mission critical. But let's be honest, for a lot of organizations, it's also a massive operational headache. So today, we're going to dig into why so many nonprofits are finally ditching those manual systems for a much more stable, automated future. Let's get into it.
So, does this question hit a little too close to home? If you're running a sponsorship program, I bet you know that endless cycle. You know, the manual data entry, trying to track payments, just keeping everything organized. It's a super common struggle, but it comes with a huge hidden cost.
So yeah, let's talk about that struggle. Because relying on spreadsheets and manual systems, well, it isn't just an inconvenience. It's actively draining your nonprofit's most valuable resources, your time, your money, and your focus. Look, the problem is actually pretty simple, but its effects are huge. When your donor information is scattered all over the place, in different files, different databases, your team ends up spending all their time just digging for data instead of actually driving your mission forward. It creates this constant state of chaos. And all that chaos, it really boils down to three critical problems, three major headaches that pretty much every growing nonprofit has to deal with. We're going to break them down one by one. First up, you've got these things called data silos. So what does that even mean? Well, it's when you just can't see the whole story on a supporter because their info is broken up into little pieces everywhere. And this leads to all sorts of problems, from inaccurate records and mismatched sponsor-child pairings to, believe it or not, serious security risks for sensitive donor data. And don't think this is just about being organized. We're talking about real money. Check this out. One nonprofit saw their year-end campaign funds go up by 8%. Why? Simply because they cleaned up their donor data. That's a powerful reminder that messy data is costing you money that should be funding your actual mission. Okay, the second headache is all about revenue instability. You know that reoccurring donations are the absolute lifeblood of sponsorship programs. But when you're tracking them by hand, a single failed payment can slip through the cracks and go completely unnoticed for weeks. And by then, that donor might be gone for good, putting your programs at risk. And the third major problem? It's the sheer administrative burden of it all, which, Missy from Agoviva just nails perfectly in this quote. All that time spent manually sending receipts and updates, it creates a huge bottleneck. It leads to staff burnout and, honestly, frustrated donors. Okay, so we've laid out all the problems. Enough doom and gloom, right? Let's talk about the solution. Let's talk about shifting from that manual struggle to the power of automated efficiency. And this slide, this is really the turning point. On the left, you've got the old way, scattered, unpredictable, totally manual. But on the right, that's the solution, centralized, automated, and streamlined. This right here is the fundamental shift that changes absolutely everything. So, how does this transformation actually happen? How do you get from that chaotic mess to a well-oiled machine? Let's take a look under the hood at the specific features that make it all possible. It all starts by creating what we call a single source of truth. This is what gets rid of those data silos. Just imagine having one unified dashboard for every single donor, with smart features like household tracking to keep your records spotless. And here's a real game changer: a donor self-service portal. It lets donors manage their own information, which cuts down on staff errors like you wouldn't believe. Next up, you stabilize that unpredictable revenue we were talking about. The system puts recurring payments on autopilot, it flags failed transactions the second they happen, and it even gently reminds donors to update their credit cards. It's smart enough to group charges to cut down on transaction fees, too. The bottom line, you are no longer wasting time chasing down lapsed payments. And finally, you get to automate your communication so you can build stronger relationships. The system can handle everything, from personalized thank you notes to a 24/7 channel for sponsors to exchange letters with the people they're supporting. And with tools like an AI copilot and multi-language support, you can deepen that donor engagement while doing way less manual work. So the features are cool, but what about the results? Let's look at the real-world impact this has for nonprofits, because the numbers here, they're pretty staggering. Okay, first number. Get ready for this. 90%. That is the percentage of sponsorship management tasks that can be completely automated. Just pause and think about that for a second. Imagine what your team could do with all that time back. And all that time you save, it translates directly into building better donor relationships. We see a 25% boost in donor retention for nonprofits that make this switch. Your donor care gets a massive upgrade too. With automation in place, organizations can respond to questions and inquiries 60% faster. That kind of speed builds so much trust and keeps your supporters happy and engaged.
Now, let's put all of this into perspective. What does it all add up to? Take a look at this chart. We are talking about saving more than 20 hours of administrative work every single week. That's half a work week that gets reallocated from pushing paper to pushing your mission forward. It's a huge operational win.
So saving 20 hours a week, boosting retention by 25%. What does all of this really mean for you? Well, it all comes back to one simple thing: your mission. I think this quote from Diana Simone at Born to Fly just says it perfectly. The goal isn't just to be more efficient for efficiency's sake. It is about freeing your team from the burden of paperwork so they can focus on the work that actually makes a difference in the world. And the best part is that getting started isn't some huge, complicated ordeal. It's a really clear 4-step journey. You start by taking a look at your current system, then you configure the new one to fit your programs perfectly. After a little team training, you can start tracking the results and see the impact for yourself. It's designed to be a really smooth, manageable transition. So we're going to leave you with this final thought. Forget about the software for a second and just ask yourself this: what could your organization, your mission, and the people you serve really achieve with 20 extra hours every single week? That's the real question here.